And he said, write these words down because it's going to change your life down the road. And he said, those who do not read have no advantage over those who cannot read. Okay? And so I put that in all of my syllabi that I give to all of my students at the very top, and I say, this is how you apply yourself to the things you're exposed to. Okay? So this is an incredible opportunity. Mike, this shows your commitment and your love for Jacob, and I'm sure this will carry on with your other kids as well. Thinking of this and carrying this out is really a unique gift, and it gives you an opportunity to go a number of different directions with these texts and to use this as a stepping stone to other books that will come your way over the course of your life. I chose 2 books as well. I couldn't make up my mind. Because they're kind of related, and it has to do with success-minded thinking. Bill, as well as I, gave you Think and Grow Rich. I wrote some comments on the inside cover for you. 2 things on that. First of all, is that it is a book that, as Bill says, thought can lead to great results. And that's not only vision, but it's also execution, and those 2 go hand in hand. The other thing is that Napoleon Hill, the author of this book, studied Andrew Carnegie, and Andrew Carnegie was a guy who made over 100 people millionaires from nothing. And so he figured out a formula. And so one of the things that I've learned in my life is, if you see somebody that has accomplished something or is in a position you'd like to be in, use them as a mentor, because there's a formula for that process, whatever that might be. It may be financial success, it might be family success, it could be anything. But find a mentor who has been there before. I know Mike talks a lot about mentors that he has, and that there's a recipe for success. And if you align yourself with the right people, you don't need to reinvent that wheel from scratch. You have a starting point that you can use from other people's experiences. So that's what I love about Think and Grow Rich. I was given the same exact version of this in high school. Right when I graduated from high school, one of my high school classmates actually gave that to me as a graduation present. I still have it in my library. The other one is a Stephen Covey book called 7 Habits. Again, I know you've heard of it, but when Mike said, hey, think of a book that would have an impact on Jacob and his point in life, it was actually kind of a cool thing, because I went through my library and kind of went down memory lane a little bit on some of the books that had a big impact on me. And I thought, what's the top list? And it's these 2 books. And this is another book that's an easy read, but it has so many core things to keep in mind for life. You know, the 7 habits, things like be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first. As you go through life, and I know all of the dads here and business folks struggle with that balance. So first things first, that's one of the 7 habits. Think win-win. It's just rules to live by. And also, it's don't take no for an answer. I know it's not something that parents always say, but I've never been very good at taking no for an answer. And when I left Mount Sac, I was short. I wanted to go to Pepperdine. I got accepted to Pepperdine, and I was short on my financial aid package from what I could afford. And I had registered at another school and was ready to move there. And I took a day. I took a day off work, and I drove out to Pepperdine, and I met with my financial advisor there. And I said, you guys really want me to come to school here? I want to come to school here, but I can't afford it, and I'm short. And she's like, how much? And I had my little Excel spreadsheet that I learned how to use to make this spreadsheet. And I said, it's a small number to you, but it's a huge number to me right now. And it was a specific number, like $5,273 for the year. And I needed 2 years. And so she's like, let me see what I can do. And so if you look at my college financial aid package, it included a scholarship from a Pepperdine fund for $5,273. And that was for my junior and senior years both. And so that got me in the door, and I almost never went because I just had been told no. And then I realized from all the times growing up and being in trouble that I wasn't really good at that. And I just told my supervisor, hey, I need to go take a day and just take a shot. And so I went there, got in the door. While I was there, I got an offer to go into EY's real estate group, which is a long-term dream of mine. And from there, it kicked me into my home building career that I'm in today. And so you think about how paths, simple steps sometimes have a very large divergence over time. And when you have that tenacity, that proactiveness, kind of some of the core takeaways from books like these, I really think you have an opportunity to make a difference in your life, in your family's life, and in the world. So happy birthday, Jacob. I'm so honored to be here to help you celebrate it. Thank you, Mike, for the invite and for the great idea. So thank you.
2 clap.
Boom. So you said you missed my intensity a little bit, so there'll be a little bit of that tonight from me. And I can echo the things about Dr. Professor Hardy. So many life lessons I've learned from that man. So you've got gems. You got your dad, and you got your grandpa. Wow, man, 18. That has gone by fast. At least for us. I mean, on this side of it, maybe you're not your parents. Who knows? But I still remember the day when your dad took me out to your old place at Pony Express and said, "Hey, Beverly's pregnant," and that day is still etched in my mind. I know I haven't been around a lot in the last 6 years-ish, but so that means to me I really haven't felt like I've earned the right to say this to you, but because I care about you, because you matter, because I respect your parents and your grandparents. That's why I'm here, and who wouldn't want to be able to do that for somebody? And I think I would want that for my sons. So swipe and adapt, Mike Hardy, right? That's one of your things. So I've got a slightly different tack. I've got a little bit of a message for you that now that you're a man officially, I just wanted to pass on a couple things. So Mike and I had a mentor that said once, take a nugget from each of your mentors and listen to those. They're not going to have everything, but take a nugget and learn from it. Take something from their collective life advice. So the biggest thing I just wanted to share tonight was I have 2 books. Of course, I'm glad I'm not alone. So I thought, there's this one and then there's this other. No, I got to get them both because they're companion pieces. And the first book that I have, and I asked your dad if you had it or not, but you said you didn't, was an NIV study Bible. And personally, I feel like everything that you really need to know to live the best possible life is in there. And I think that the person that you need to know the most in Jesus is a big piece of that. And so I think if you don't have that, if you don't dig into that on a regular basis, you're going to fall short. And I mean, you're a car guy. You've got your car taken apart in the garage in there. So at least, the biggest piece of advice I have would be to just dig into that relationship. Daily read, go through, find good mentors around that. Don't settle for this. I hope nobody else has one of these, but don't settle for a BMW when you could have a Veyron or a Koenigsegg. You know what I'm talking about. It'll change your life. I can say this personally. Your parents have been around when my life was an absolute total mess. I grew up with an alcoholic mother, an overly controlling father, so I know Mr. Hardy, Dr. Hardy knows all about that because of all the phone calls I used to get. But what I would say is, even if you fall away, even if for some reason you go to college and all your professors tell you that everything the Bible says is wrong and it's untrue and it's terrible, let's have a conversation. I have gotten a lot more wisdom and insight over the years than I had, when I started college. And everybody makes mistakes, everybody goes through things. But when my life fell apart, I had your parents and other good friends like your uncle Craig over there that helped pick me back up. But the biggest piece in that was really just going back to the faith that I had when I grew up. So if you wander, come back. That's all I got to say is come back. Don't settle for anything less than the best that you can have. And I believe that's where your best possible life comes from. So The companion book that goes with that is a book by, you're a runner still? Yes? A little bit? Okay. But you're an athlete for sure, and you know that what that's like when you have a few of those moments, I hope, where you felt like you've been in a flow, right, or the zone, where just everything feels like you're on air, you feel like, and you're flying, you're going super fast, and it just feels effortless. And there's a deep sense of joy that comes from, at least it was for me when I was an athlete many years ago now. And one thing I can say about that joy, though, is fleeting. It doesn't stay with you. I mean, you get it, and you're always going back to try to find it again as an athlete. And one of the things that I've noticed in my time as a Christian has been that I have that, especially as I've matured and gotten older, I get that more and more now. And it's not from running, it's from that relationship. And so that's my biggest hope for you. And so the companion book is a book about the Olympic runner, Eric Liddell. And your dad and I used to watch this movie all the time. Now we weren't old when we watched it, now we are. And it's called Chariots of Fire. And one of the things that he said in there was, and he didn't actually say this, but I think it hits the sentiments of who he was, and that was, when I run, I feel God's pleasure. So that's my hope for you, is that you have that joy and have that pleasure, and you don't settle for the BMW. Get the Koenigsegg.
You clap.
Whoa.
I think I'm Craig, by the way. I'm Mike's brother-in-law. When I came here,
Talking to the mic.
yeah, well, I'm not good at this. I suck at talking in front of people. But, the book I brought you is Andy Andrews, and with the book, one thing I want to let you know is it's about choices. And in life, there's always choices, and your choices are going to move you ahead, or they're going to move you back. So what I want you to know is really think about what you're going to do in life, and whatever that is, whatever chance you take, you got to know you're going to make a choice. And in that choice, you got to live with it. So you can tell I'm nervous because I hate this. So, but I want to show you how much I love you by coming in here, telling you how much I love you. I've known you since and I'm really proud of you. And I really am proud of you. So, happy birthday. You clap.
Whoa.
Jacob, happy birthday also. I've known Jacob since one day on the way to a Dodger game, long time ago. A 5-year-old kid was explaining to me the differences between an A4 and an A3 and why the A4 was so much better from Audi. And I was shocked. Why do you even know that at 5? And it's stuck in my head that this kid is going to be something really special, because when he takes on a project, it's going to go a long way. So, the books that I chose were by an author that, for me, has been amazing. A man by the name of John Maxwell. And my life message to young people, and some of the guys that have been through some of our Bible study classes together, who knows that my mantra is always that life is a summary of your choices. Choices have consequences, good and bad. If you don't like where you are in your life or where it's going, go back and re-examine the choices you made to put you where you are. We all make mistakes. We all have failures in our life. Failures are part of our life. But if you ask any one of the successful men sitting around this room, they'll tell you they had more failures in their life than they did successes. You learn from it. It's only a mistake if you don't learn the lesson. When you fall on your face, you're that much further ahead when you stand back up. Okay? Vince Lombardi said the quote that everybody quotes is, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it only matters how many times you get back up. When you live an intentional life, it requires passion, planning, God, and putting others before yourself. Lastly, the one thing that I truly believe is children are a reflection of their parents. Look around what your parents are doing for you. Okay? All of these men have been an influence in Mike's life, and he wants them to be an influence in your life. Look at the young men that are sitting with you. You guys are all influencing each other. It's an amazing thing when you pass that on and pass it forward. Okay, the next generation is coming up. You guys are the leaders that are going to set the example for them. Okay. The books that I did were Intentional Living by John Maxwell and Failing Forward. Both of them are amazing stories of John Maxwell's own personal life and how he's gotten ahead. It's meant a lot to me to be invited to this. But all of it is something that all of these books are things that these men feel you are capable of handling. You are something special. You're God created. You are something that is going to be powerful in this world. We've seen it myself. I've seen it since you were 5. I've seen, the Mike posts to Facebook, so you running him up in the hill for $100 and beating him finally and collecting the bill. But those are the kind of things that, that's an amazing story, and he's setting you up for success. Now it's your choice to make it happen. Happy birthday, and God bless.
2 clap.
Boom.
Sorry, I'll hold this one, but.
First of all, Jacob, we can agree the A3 wagon is a cool car, though, right?
He's got one.
All right, so
That's
good.
why I was staring at it the whole time. He drove one here and it almost overheated.
Yeah, A3 wagon's a good car. And Mike, thank you. This is my first experience with sexual age of discrimination. So I feel like I'm younger. My wife and kids think I'm 12. So thank you for having me. Beverly, thank you for having me. Jacob, happy birthday. You guys, you heard from him. Don't screw this up for him. You're supposed to be influencing him for the next few years, so don't screw this up, okay? And also take... Is it too late? It's too late. Later. Okay. So my time's wasted. So you guys can listen to all of this as well, okay? I've been fortunate. I've got to go through this once before, so I had some notes. Your mom, clean your room. Drive slow when you leave the house. Listen to your parents. Mom, pass those off. The first thing I thought of when I was told about this was listening to my parents. I was about 26 when I figured out how smart my father was. Most people don't realize that their parents have been there, they've done it, they've made all the same mistakes. So take advantage of what they've already done. Have those tough conversations with them that you don't want to talk about because they've been there. Also, to all of you guys, I guess this applies. Be the first to ask your friends for help, because you may ask one of them for help on something, and they may have been afraid to ask you for help for something else. So by opening the door for them, you may be able to help them as well. I always tell my friends that I don't want to be the one that they invite to a party. I want to be the friend that they tell me to come over a couple hours early and help me clean up or help me set up for the party. So be that friend that comes over and helps them out. Another one that I remember from my college days was, if I take a girl out more than twice and I don't want to bring her home to my parents, there's something wrong. I shouldn't be dating her. Okay? Goes to all of you guys. It's a small world. Be nice to people. You will see them again. Also, if you have friends that make maybe some bad choices and you find... Sorry, I've gone through this. And you maybe you write those friends off. Remember, life is a journey, so they may come back to you. I haven't been the best father. What I've learned to work on is listening. So remember your parents, give them the same patience. When you have those conversations with them, remember they're trying to understand where you're coming from as well. So that's it. I'm going to leave this with you. Also, God, I'm glad I haven't written that many books or read that many books, but I think I've one up to everybody, because I'm going to give you a book that I wrote. I don't think anybody's done that. This one's a little bit of a script flipping. I just finished this book myself for my daughter, and this is actually homework for Mike. It's called A Father's Legacy, and it asks you questions about what your relationship was with your brothers and sisters. When was the first Christmas that you remember? What was Bible study like for you? And you get to write all of these, and it's a project, and then you'll have this for the rest of your life. My daughter's 22, and she actually told me, I told her I got this book, and she told me today that she rations it out. She only reads a few pages every month or so, just to get a little glimpse. So this is for you, but it's going to you. So thank you for having me.
2 clap.
Boom.
Hi, Jacob. Happy birthday. We have not met, but I'm a friend of your father's. And I will tell you the time I get to spend with him. You're the apple of his eye. He gleams every time he talks about you. He sits a little taller, smiles, gets a little brighter, and it's inherent, obviously, with the family behind him and everybody standing around. Couple tidbits of things that I've been fortunate enough to hear from mentors of mine or my father. Know your place, and that's double-sided. Just know that you are kind of going from the little kid table to the big kid table, and there's a lot of responsibilities that go with that, but you're at the big kid table, but you're on the small end of the big kid table, so you always got to know what you're wearing, and it doesn't matter how you get there. It could be luck or you've earned it. You just got to know it. And the other thing about know your place is don't let anybody else put you in your place. Right? You know where you are, you know where you stand by that. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. The other second part is stay true to yourself and lean on your foundation. You are going into a world that probably most of us men here probably won't even understand or comprehend because it's moving so fast. And there's going to be a lot of distraction, a lot of temptation, a lot of questioning, and those are all things for you to explore. But just remember how you got here today, and the group of men and people and family around you that help you get you there. And that is a safe place, and that is the best place to go when you're not sure or you're doubting what's going on in the world. And then thirdly, it's not how you go through tough times, or not if, but how. And I can speak for myself and probably most of us here that we're going to screw up, and so are you, right? It's just going to happen in life. But it's how you pick yourself up, the integrity that you have, the humility, the ownership of the mistake, what really defines you as a man. And other people are going to recognize that around you. They're not expecting you to be perfect, but they're expecting you to own your own stuff. And that's big. A friend of mine was a soccer coach, and he always coached or picked goalkeepers by how they acted after they just got scored on. Not how many goals they protected, but how they acted exactly right after they got scored on. Were they pouting the whole time? Did they pick themselves up? Are they back in the game? Are they ready for the next one? Is that yesterday's news? All these things. So how you go through the 10 times is a real big deal. And then the book that I brought today, Start With Why, is we can never have enough inspiration. And this is a book about inspiration, and not only how to find your own inspiration, but how to communicate your inspiration to others, and how Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King, these guys inspired the people around them, the companies around them. So I hope you get a little bit of inspiration out of that. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
2 clap.
Boom.
Well, we got to talk cards one day.
All right.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
When Mike said to bring a book that impacted me, I had to really think, because I don't really read all that many books, right? I mean, I just go through life. And then I realized the book that impacted me was this book. It's 800 pages. So I got a couple of books here. But when I grew up a kid in East LA. Basically, I was alone from second grade on. And there was really nothing for me to do. Summer 78, I was 9 years old, and I discovered this book in my sister's closet. She had a Book of the Month Club. She had a bunch of books, sorry. And this was one of them. The Amy Vanderbilt complete book of etiquette. This is the 50th anniversary edition. It was the 1978 edition, the new one. Anyway, I started reading this thing, and it was really helpful. I learned everything I needed to know about how to deal with the outside world, which I didn't get at home. I had no one show me anything. So by the time I went to work at 17, I started as a copy boy. But the stuff I learned in here fed me so much, and so much information, and so much valuable information about working and being with other people, dealing with people, their emotions, how to deal with people, how to talk to people, what to wear, how to dress, how to eat, how to use your napkins, how to have any manners, was in here. And I went from a 17-year-old copy boy to a 22-year-old manager. I ran my own office in Orange County. This was why. This propelled me further than anybody. This was my mentor. So when you said get a book that impacted you, I thought, geez, I almost cussed. What book? You're going to get plenty of business books here. You're going to get plenty of religious books here. But then it occurred to me, the book I wanted was this one. I called my sister. I literally called my sister. I said, do you have that book? Because I don't. She's like, God, I was 78. No, I don't have that book. But this is the 50th anniversary. It's been updated. It was written in 54, then in 78, and then now. There's so much in here. It's so anecdotal. You can just sort of flip through and read about how to behave at a wedding. Office Christmas parties are really good to know. Don't drink. First thing. Anyway, it's really handy. It took me, like I said, it took me from being a copy boy at 17 to being, do you want to run this new office we're opening at 22? That was this book. And the people you meet along the way, because how you treat people is how